The feed algorithm. In 2016, Instagram killed the chronological feed and replaced it with an algorithmic one. Half the internet complained. Instagram did it anyway, and the numbers proved them right. Today, the feed ranks posts based on 4 things: your past activity, your relationship with the person posting, the post itself, and how likely Instagram thinks you are to interact with it. A photo from a close friend posted an hour ago beats a photo from a brand you followed 3 years ago and never once engaged with. The algorithm cares about relevance more than recency. That means a post can keep climbing in someone's feed for hours after it was published, long after the person who posted it has assumed nobody saw it. It also means that accounts with strong engagement histories get a consistent advantage over ones with large but passive audiences, since Instagram is always predicting interaction, not just measuring follower count. It's basically the coworker who remembers your coffee order versus the one who's worked there for 5 years and still calls you buddy. However, stories don't work the same way as the feed. The Stories algorithm. Stories sit at the top of the app and are sorted based on who Instagram thinks you actually care about. The signals it uses are surprisingly personal: whose stories you watch without skipping, whose you reply to, whose DMs you open, and of course, whose profile you visit. It also pays attention to whether you watch a full story or tap through in under a second, kind of like the Instagram version of a swipe away. So the people who appear first are the ones Instagram has decided you have the strongest relationship with, based on months of behavior it has been tracking, without ever asking your permission. Somewhere there's a version of you that never texts back but apparently watches every single one of your ex's stories, and Instagram has quietly filed that under relevant. Whether it gets that right is debatable. Most people find it's accurate enough to be useful, and wrong just enough to make you feel slightly annoyed. The Reels algorithm. Instagram did not invent the short video format. It watched TikTok do it and grow faster than anything it had seen in years. Then they built Reels. That context explains why the Reels algorithm operates almost identically to TikTok's. Watch time, completion rate, shares, saves, and comments all feed into how widely a reel gets pushed. What it weighs most heavily is shares. If you put in some effort, it'll be rewarded. That's the deal. So if you share a reel with your friends, the algorithm will push it. Unlike the feed, Reels is explicitly built for discovery. Most of what it shows you comes from accounts you don't follow, which is how you end up knowing an alarming amount of information about a stranger's dog. This makes it the surface most similar to TikTok's For You page. Whether that's proof the strategy works or proof that Instagram was paying very close attention is a matter of perspective. Either way, follower count matters less here than anywhere else on the platform. A reel with strong signals can reach millions from an account that had none to start. Reels pushes you toward accounts you've never seen. The next algorithm on our list takes that same logic and gives it its own dedicated page. The Explore algorithm. Explore exists for one specific purpose: to show you content from accounts you haven't found yet. It takes everything it knows about your behavior, what you like, save, linger on, and interact with, and maps it against available content to find things that match your patterns without repeating what you've already seen. The matching is interest-based, which means someone with no overlapping followers can land on your Explore page simply because the people who engage with their content also engage with yours. Engage with one new thing here and the page will adjust, sometimes immediately enough to feel like the algorithm was watching over your shoulder, which it technically was. Look at one video of a guy fixing a vintage motorcycle and suddenly your entire feed thinks you're restoring one in a garage you don't even have. The catch is that Explore reach is difficult to intentionally engineer. The algorithm puts content there when it's ready to. Posting specifically to win Explore tends to produce content that wins neither Explore or anything else. The search algorithm. Every other algorithm on this list is trying to figure out what you want. Search is different because you are talking directly to Instagram. When you type something into the search bar, the app gets an actual signal. Instagram ranks search results using the text you entered against account names, captions, hashtags, and locations. Yeah, basically everything. It then even personalizes the order based on who you follow and what you've engaged with before. TikTok, yet again, uses the same logic. The words used in a caption are doing actual work. A descriptive caption that matches how people naturally search will outperform an identical post with none. So vibes, workout, and similar captions are doing considerably less for you than you'd like to believe. Sorry. The truth is, Instagram is used as a search engine more than most brands realize, and treating captions as searchable text decoration is one of the lowest effort advantages still available. In the end, we're talking about the platform where most of the obvious shortcuts have already been closed off. The hashtag algorithm. Hashtags on Instagram have had an unusual run. For years, stacking 30 of them on a post was standard practice. It was a legitimate reach strategy that genuinely worked. Then Instagram changed how they functioned, publicly suggested that fewer might be better than more, and quietly reduced how much discovery weight they carried. The person who first typed hashtag photo of the day in 2012 had no idea they were starting a hashtag that would eventually be attached to 600 million posts and mean absolutely nothing to any algorithm anywhere. The current reality is that hashtags still help Instagram categorize a post and place it near related content, but they're no longer pulling the reach numbers they once did. A hashtag with 300 million posts attached to it buries new content within minutes of publishing. Smaller, more specific ones keep a post visible longer and in front of people more likely to actually engage with it. The relationship algorithm. Most of Instagram's other algorithms have a relationship layer running underneath them. It doesn't have its own visible surface, but it shapes what appears in the feed, where stories sit, and how likely any post is to reach a given person. Instagram builds a closeness score between accounts based on direct messages, story replies, post likes, profile visits, and even mutual engagement. The stronger the score, the more Instagram prioritizes one account's content for the other. This is why a small account with a genuinely engaged audience often outperforms a large one full of passive followers. Follower count is visible, but relationship depth is what actually drives distribution. Engagement pods, groups of accounts that artificially boost each other's posts, used to work. Then the algorithm got better at spotting a fake relationship versus a real one. Just like your mom can tell the difference between a real laugh and a haha you typed just because. The ad algorithm. Ads are ranked by an entirely different system than organic content, for an obvious reason. This is how Meta makes money. The ad algorithm decides what to show you based on what advertisers have specified as their target audience, what Instagram predicts you're likely to click, and how competitive the auction is for your attention at that particular moment. Unlike organic posts, ads don't need relationship signals or follower history to reach you. They just need a targeting spec that includes you and a bid that wins. The accuracy can feel unsettling. Meta's ad targeting pulls from behavior across Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and the broader network of websites that run Meta's tracking tools. Mention something near your phone, and soon, you'll see an ad for exactly that thing. The most unsettling part is that it probably got there without ever using the microphone, meaning you were predictable the whole time. The shopping algorithm. Instagram shopping cares about intent more than the entertainment algorithms do. Watching a video shows mild interest. Saving a post shows a bit more. But clicking a product tag, visiting a product page, or completing a purchase sends a much clearer signal. This person is ready to buy. The shopping algorithm rewards creators whose content drives actual clicks. A beautifully shot product post with low click-through tells the algorithm one thing. An average-looking post filmed in someone's bathroom with a conversion rate 3 times higher tells it something else entirely. The system will favor that second post in shopping services every single time. Keep in mind that Instagram increasingly treats commerce as its own discovery lane with its own logic. So doing well on the entertainment feed doesn't automatically carry over to shopping. The two surfaces are looking for different things, and content that tries to please both usually ends up pleasing neither. The moderation algorithm. The moderation system runs in the background of everything else, and it operates in 2 layers. The first removes content that violates community guidelines outright. The second manages recommendation eligibility, which determines whether a post or account can appear in discovery services like Explore, Reels, and hashtag pages at all. Content can be technically allowed to stay on the platform and still be completely invisible in recommendations. If you have ever been invited to a party and then left standing alone by the snack table all night, you know what we're talking about. Now, a single piece of flagged content usually isn't enough to cause lasting damage. A pattern of them is a different situation, and the path tends to involve removing the flagged content, waiting for the system to reassess, and not repeating whatever triggered it. On a timeline, Instagram does not publish and will not discuss. For most creators, this layer is invisible. For the ones it isn't, it tends to show up as the next thing on this list. The shadow ban algorithm. Instagram has never officially confirmed the shadow ban. Creators have never stopped talking about it. What the term usually describes is a drop in reach that arrives without a clear violation notice. Posts that appear to go live pick up a small number of views and then stop moving. Much like shouting into a canyon that stopped bothering to echo back. The causes are usually a cluster of compounding issues. Content that hit a recommendation limit, engagement patterns that resemble spam, heavy repetition of the same hashtags across every post, and so on. As shadow bans don't come with an explanation, try checking the account status tool. It will rule out the obvious, so you won't be spending 3 weeks convinced you've been targeted by an algorithm. It probably just saw numbers it didn't like and acted accordingly. The originality algorithm. This one is recent, and it caught a lot of accounts off guard. In 2024, Instagram announced it would actively reduce the distribution of reposted content in recommendations, and give original creators more visibility when their work gets reshared by someone else. Accounts built on aggregating or reposting content from others found themselves pushed out of the discovery surfaces that had driven their growth. The reasoning makes sense from Instagram's side. Original content generates stronger engagement signals, builds a healthier creator ecosystem, and gives the platform something worth recommending in the first place. For creators who had been watching aggregator accounts outrank them by reposting their own work, the update was long overdue. For the aggregators itself, it was an abrupt end to a strategy Instagram had tolerated for considerably longer than it probably should have.